Mike's going to talk about Facebook being Facebook and Europe being Europe on today's Not So Critical Update.
Yeah, Facebook being Facebook. We've talked before about how oversight of Facebook largely falls to Ireland with respect to GDPR because Facebook is headquartered in Ireland, so Ireland has jurisdiction over a lot of the enforcement. And what they're saying here is that they have notified the EU that they are going to block Facebook because right now there is no data protection for data being moved out of the EU to the US, for example. And Facebook has threatened to leave. They said if we can't do this thing, then we won't be able to provide our service. So maybe we have to leave Europe altogether. Game of chicken. Who loses, who wins?
So I think it's really important to touch on that the article, if I recall correctly, I just read it. If the article doesn't mention WhatsApp.
Yeah, they said WhatsApp. Specifically, Meta had mentioned specifically Facebook and Instagram as being affected by this.
Right. I would not be surprised if 90% of Europe's citizens, uses WhatsApp day to day. In America, WhatsApp never took off. People are really, really committed to regular text messaging, which is super weird. For the rest of the world, WhatsApp is the de facto communication tool. It is an instant messenger that looks and acts like a text message tool, but it has all the features of an instant messenger tool. So group chat, group calling, FaceTiming, voice notes, everything, encryption, everything you could want. And when you call someone on WhatsApp, it's clear because it's over the web, their technology is so much farther ahead than anyone else's. It is really the best tool to make phone calls. I'm not kidding. It's actually really good.
Guess what I use?
You use text messaging and regular calling. Of course, just like me. I'm in the States, but like if I'm going to talk to anyone outside of the United States, I'm using WhatsApp every time.
It's not because I'm old. It's because I'm an American. Okay.
It's because you're American and no one else in America uses WhatsApp. Right. Unless they've traveled, they might have WhatsApp, but they don't use it. They'll just have it. So, which is insane. So, it's really funny that Facebook has somehow figured out a way to not include WhatsApp in this, but like Facebook and Instagram. Those are, it feels like I wouldn't even say it's a game of chicken. It feels like it's a game of deception on Facebook's part. Like if they wanted to, they could reroute data and host it, and it does not need to go to America. There's no way they can replicate their infrastructure and put it in Europe.
Are you saying that they've already figured this out for WhatsApp and they could 100%. Apply the same solution to everything else, or that Definitely. They just don't want to? Okay.
And they just don't want to. It's a cost thing. It's really expensive to replicate someone's infrastructure, especially at Facebook scale, and move it to a different country where you now have to follow different data laws and a host of other
their alternative is to not be in Europe. You'd think that would cost them a lot more.
You would think so. But you also have to ask yourself, what kind of money are they making off of Instagram and Facebook in Europe? Right? Because I don't believe that they can sell user data. European citizens are protected. The only way that they can make money then is through advertising. And if I recall correctly, they also have anti-tracking laws in place. They can't be tracked. So you can't do hyper-focused targeted advertising. So they're probably making a fraction of what they're making in a country like America. To them, maybe their big-brained analyst did the math and told old Mark that it's not actually worth it for us to spend the resources on spinning up a European edition, if you will.
Yeah, if they make it harder, it's not worth it. That's interesting. Exactly. That could definitely be the case. I wonder what I wonder what their finances look like in Europe versus the US. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to come to this, because this is tied to. So what this is hinging on is having an agreement between the US and Europe that allows them to transfer data across the borders. And we did an article a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, that they're essentially figuring that out right now. It was funny at the time because they said it was a digital privacy act to facilitate moving data across international borders, which I still don't understand. But as soon as we can get one of those in place, then Facebook and Ireland are back on the same page.
And to me, this sounds like it's America protecting Europe's citizens to do business with Europe. It's not about protecting America's citizens, which is just kind of funny.
Oh yeah, that's totally true.
Because
any protection American citizens get is just from GDPR anyway.
Right. So it's a bit funny, a bit ironic. Capitalism for the win.
Capitalism for the win. Are we wrapping up there?
I guess.
All right. Well, fuck Facebook.
Yeah.
See ya.